collaboration, partnership, and community organization in order to accelerate our progress to achieve SDG 6 targets by 2030. Before I tell you about my community mobilization experience, there is one important fact I would like you to bear in mind. That is, the water industry is critical to the transition of the global economy from linear to circular. Simply, linear economy entails a take, make, dispose model which generates waste and espouses inefficiency. Whilst on the other hand, circular economic model presents an environmentally sustainable way of managing our economy, which minimizes, if not prevents, wastage. Though transitional efforts are being made globally towards circular economy, our water resources today have come under enormous threat due to our disposal of waste. Let us take a look at some heartbreaking statistics about waste management globally. According to the data compiled by the United Nations World Water Assessment Program, 2 million tons of human waste is disposed in water bodies every single day. Again, they estimate that around 90% of total waste in developing countries is diverted into sources like rivers, lakes, and ocean without any proper treatment. Statistical data on ocean pollution reveals that every year 14 billion tons of waste are made up of garbage, sewage, oil, plastics are disposed of into the ocean all over the world. Now, what are the effects of all these things on our lives? The United Nations Development Program Human Development Report estimates that 443 million school days are lost to waterborne diseases every year. These are formidable challenges that require innovative, sustainable solutions. And these heartbreaking statistics can be minimized or eliminated if the world fully adopts circular economy. For us, water professionals, to live up to the expectations desired of us in the transition from linear to circular economy, we need to go beyond traditional silos and develop more partnerships and interactions to churn out pragmatic innovations. There are 3 critical silos that we need to break down. First is the technical administrative governance silos. We need to consider a nexus approach to water, energy, and waste, which is happening already but needs to be accelerated. This can be possible if the technical, administrative, and governance of these individual resources are interconnected. Social and sectorial silos between industry, cities, and civil societies are also to be broken. Industries, consumers, civil societies, and policymakers need to work together with a common goal of creating and sharing value rather than competing and creating value independently. The third one is the infrastructure and operations silos. Instead of the take, make, dispose way of production, a life cycle approach can be adopted. In this case, the waste from the operation of one infrastructure becomes the raw materials for the other, leading to a minimal discharge of waste into the environment. Considering these old, firmly established silos that need to be broken, it is then obvious that the transitioning to a circular economy will not happen like a single big bang. But without a doubt, it is our best option to ensure progress towards achieving universal access to clean water and sanitation, because in circular economies, there are no rooms for silos. There might be old and strong silos that seem difficult to break, but interestingly, there is a great way to put all those silos in the past. Young people are in the best position to tear down walls and overcome silos. We are more connected, we are digitally inclined to lead the creation of partnership among ourselves, as well as senior professionals and established institutions. We have the energy to mobilize resources and bring stakeholders together to co-design innovative solutions to various water challenges in our community. This positions us as drivers of change in leading the collaboration agenda, which underlines the transition from the linear to the circular economy. What is so special about co-design, and why are young people in the best position to lead this process? Inspired to lead change in my local community, I initiated the quarterly water satellite panel discussion series for young professionals to talk about local and global water issues, and also reach out to local communities to raise awareness on WASH best practices. Through these discussions and community engagement, I realized that WASH interventions in most of the rural communities were in silos. So I and my team came together to develop an integrated approach to solving the WASH challenges in our rural communities. The intervention involves the construction of mechanized boreholes powered by solar energy and a micro-flash toilet that uses a quarter gallon of water per flash. The system is designed in such a way that the toilet roof collects water that is used for hand washing, and that same water used for the next flash. In January 2019, we developed a partnership with Project Magi, a social enterprise with over a decade experience in building solar water systems to complement our efforts in implementing the first phase of our project, that is the solar water system. We are still looking for more partnership because as a young initiative, that is the best way to limit our risk while building an enviable profile in the industry. In my quest to use the co-design approach to make sure that every single person living in rural communities in my country has access to clean water and sanitation, I discovered 5 principles that need to be applied with all diligence to reap the optimum benefits of co-design process. 1. The process needs to be participative. The process must be open, empathetic, and responsive. All stakeholders must have a role to play and be responsible for the effectiveness of the process. 2. Inclusiveness. Representatives from critical stakeholder groups must be engaged in co-designing interventions, from framing the issue to developing and testing the solution. Imagine a borehole being constructed in a village and it's not being used because the people were not engaged in the construction of the borehole, or the people were not engaged in the siting of the borehole. So they claim that the borehole was sited on a sacred ground which they cannot use. Number 3, civility. All views of contributors must be respected, and their inputs must be valued and have equal standing. There is no view of anybody, especially from the beneficiaries, that can be said to be unworthy. Every contribution counts. In Kenya, in a slum in Kenya, one man called Shofko, because they had a challenge of tags tapping into the water pipes whenever they tried to supply water to the slum, they went to the community to engage with the community how best they can help them solve their problem. One person just shouted that they should put the pipes in the air. To me, that is ridiculous. But Shofko went ahead to put the pipes in the air, and today he won the Hilton Conrad Humanitarian Prize, which is the biggest humanitarian prize in the world. The 4th one is that it should be iterative. Ideas and solutions must be continually tested and evaluated with all stakeholders. Changes and adaptations are a natural part of the process. Testing possibilities and insights as they emerge. Taking risks and allowing for failure and falling forward. At our WASH Africa, we failed several times. We failed in many ways, but we are always learning and trying to put things together to move forward. That is the way that we can provide sustainable innovation solutions to our communities. And the last one is that all the process should be outcome focused. The process must aim at achieving an outcome or a series of outcomes where potential solutions can be tested, effectiveness measured, and where the spreading and scaling of these solutions can be developed with stakeholders. It wasn't easy for me to set up to step up to lead this co-design effort in my community. And it's still not easy nurturing iWash Africa to be a game changer in the wash industry in Ghana. As young people, we have fears and uncertainties. We enjoy very limited trust from our communities, but I learned that we need to overcome these limitations if we start doing something. And we do not need to do something just by ourselves. We must identify other like-minded people, form partnerships, and implement our ideas using the co-design process. This will help us to acquire more skills, gain trust as we take on bigger roles in the industry. Will it not be amazing for your name to be written in history that your effort and contribution made it possible to achieve the SDG 6 targets? Yes, together as a YWP community under the IWA, our unique abilities as young professionals plays a critical role in the transition of the global economy from linear to circular. The challenge before us is to co-create our shared future. We can only achieve this if we connect to build stronger partnerships, if we learn among ourselves and beyond, and if we lead meaningful dialogues and initiatives. This is our time to connect, learn, and lead. Thank you.